Welcome everyone. We're gonna pause for a second. I forgot to do some stuff.
Hey guys, welcome. We're recording an episode for our PT Profits podcast right now. Wake up and earn. All right.
Okay. Welcome everyone to Wake Up and Earn. I am your host, Joe Arko.
And I'm Sarah Fennell.
And today we're going to be talking about a topic regarding success. And basically what success means to you, how you define success, and what you're willing to sacrifice for success.
I think this is a really interesting topic. And a lot of people just starting out on their entrepreneurial journey or getting into business, our definition of success can be skewed. Or we think that it's one thing and you can achieve that, whether it's money or stuff.
Right. You
get all that stuff and money and you realize that you're still unhappy.
Right. I think that's where people have a poor definition of what success means. And I think a lot of people determine success by, I think a lot of it's income and stuff you can buy.
Yeah.
So if I have the house, I have the car, I have the income, I'll be happy. And I don't know how many people we've met that have said they had that mentality, they acquired all that stuff, and then they realized that they're still unhappy or unfulfilled.
Yeah, that was totally me. And I wanted the Louis Vuitton purses and the Gucci stuff and the condo on the lake and the Mercedes, and I got it all. And then in 2016, I realized how unfulfilled I felt. And
it's because you haven't met me yet.
And it's so funny. It was when I met you in 2016 and then really starting to formulate a relationship and structuring a business the way that I wanted to, and everything we're actually going to talk about in today's episode, that I realized what success really meant for me.
Right. And this is something that, we talked about this with our mentorship group and getting people to define what success means to them. This is something that we heard with when we went to San Diego with AJ Robertson talking about. One thing that he said that really stood out to me was he said that he wrote down everything he wanted to buy and figured out how much that would cost. Because he's like, everyone says, I want to make $1 million. Why $1 million?
Yeah.
Why not 975,000? Why not 1.15 million? Why 1 million? And he said that when he finally wrote down everything that he wanted, and he even said, having a private plane and being able to drive around, not owning the plane, but renting it, whatever else. By the time he wrote down everything he wanted to acquire and buy, he said it was only $750,000. Only $750,000. Now, I know some of you are like, only $750,000, but when you think about, if you're in a dream, and all the things you really want are only $750,000, how much more do I really need? And so a lot of times, this is so true in our mentorship too. I see people when they said, when I say, how much do you want to make? $1 million. Well, how much is that per month? And they have no idea. And unless you know what it means to make that million, why $1 million? It's not going to make you any happier. And so this is something that I kind of woke up today, and I had a conversation with Mikal on Friday. And he was talking about how he does this as well with his business, and he's got his 4 quadrants, and he doesn't deviate from those quadrants. And if what you're doing is not fulfilling what your definition of success is, you're going to find yourself frustrated, you're going to find yourself spinning your wheels, or just grinding it out. We all know how much I love the word grind. You're grinding, and you're not happier. And what's interesting, and for those that you can't see this and you're not going to know this, but Sarah and I both did our 4 pillars of success and what we're willing to sacrifice for that, and we didn't look at each other's list.
It's so funny.
I did mine this morning, did a post, and Sarah did hers, and literally just before we were about to record this, I saw hers. I was like, did you cheat? Are you looking at my you can't cheat this? And she's like, no, there's some differences, but they're interesting. I want to go through kind of my list and your list, and how we kind of came about doing this, and how people can do this for themselves to serve their life a lot better.
And the quicker that you define this for yourself, like Joe was saying, you can structure your business and your life around this. At the end of the day, it's not usually about the money.
Right. It's
about how you're living out that day to day. And I think a lot of people give up on entrepreneurship or building something for their own because they haven't defined what they want that life to look like. And they're hustling and grinding for all of the wrong things. So
let's go through this list, shall we?
All right, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Why don't you do your top 4, I'll do my top 4, and then we'll go into the bottom half of it.
So for me, success means these 4 things. And number 1 on my list was to have more time with the kids and with you. So that's quality time, time throughout the week, time throughout the day, and also time to travel. Number 2 on my list was not living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm able to live the lifestyle that I want. Number 3, I work the hours I want to work. And number 4, I'm able to create, inspire, and get paid by fitness professionals for helping them. That's it. So if I look at this list and what we do on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis right now, we have a lot of time, and we work together, so we have a lot of time together. We have a lot of time with the kids. We have a lot of time to travel. So what we're doing definitely for me fulfills that first element. We don't live paycheck to paycheck. We live the lifestyle we want. If we want to hire coaches, we hire coaches. If we want to, we have vehicles that we love. We live in a really nice house, and we don't stress about paying bills and about, making money. Do we want to make more? Sure. But are we able to live the lifestyle that we're happy with? Of course. So that box is checked for me as well. I work the hours that I want to work. And that doesn't mean we don't work a lot of hours. But I don't want to work 9 to 5. I want to be able to drop the kids off at school, pick them up. I don't want, sorry, hon, I can't come home. The boss is asking me to stay overtime, and I can't come home tonight. We do work long hours, and we work a lot, but we get to choose what hours those are. And then lastly, be able to create, inspire, and get paid by fitness professionals for helping them. That's what we do every day. We're literally paid, and our career is made off of being able to inspire and help create and solve problems for fitness professionals. So on a daily basis, my 4 pillars are being checked off. What are yours?
And I love that ours are very similar, and it's actually a good thing. If we were trying to work towards different things, maybe this relationship wouldn't work, or business relationship. So my 4, very similar. Number 1 is I am physically and mentally healthy. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I have the freedom in my schedule to work when I want, travel when I want, and enjoy downtime with you and the kids. Number 3, I am serving others in the way that I want, and I create how I earn my income and the people that I want to help. And number 4 is I don't stress about money. So, definitely I have to be physically and mentally healthy. Does that mean being in top shape all the time? No. But if I don't feel good in my own body and my health, I 100% cannot show up in work. And you know that. Yeah. My body's definitely a little more sensitive than yours. I want that freedom in our schedule to be able to do what I want when I want and serve the people that I want. And what I mean by that is it's one thing to make money, but if you're not doing it in a way that makes you happy and that fulfills you, to me, that is not success. So right. This is why I put money as the 4th, because if my health isn't good, if I don't have the freedom, and if I'm not doing what I love when I want to do it, then the money doesn't even matter. Right.
And I asked you prior to doing this today when I looked at your list, if I said, would you be willing to, and we'll get to the next topic, which is what are you willing to sacrifice? So if I said, I'll give you $1 million, but you can't work out for the next 60 days, or I'll give you $1 million, but you have to work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. downtown Toronto. How long would that take before you're like, it's not worth it?
Yeah, 100% not.
And so I think it's very important that people really, truly define to them what success means. The ability for us to, even like, I'm leaving Thursday to go visit my grandmother for 5 days. I don't have to call the boss. I don't have to look at my vacation. I don't have to make sure I can fit it in. I can literally get work done from anywhere. We can connect, we can answer emails, we can do some stuff. I had the freedom to do that, which I think is fantastic. A lot of people, though, don't really define what that success means, and they aren't truly happy, or they don't know. And what is what I'm working on right now creating success in the future? Mm-hmm. So for some people, it might be I want to have more time with my kids, but if you're looking at what you're doing right now, will it give you that freedom down the road? Because there are some sacrifices you have to make sometimes, and I've had to sacrifice. Friday I didn't have time with the kids. Wednesday I won't have time with the kids. There's events that come up, but the lifestyle that I have and the job that I have creates far more time in general than me doing something else. Mm-hmm. So there's something that I really encourage you guys to figure out what your 4 big pillars are for success, and then secondly, what are you willing to sacrifice?
And this is interesting because everybody can lay out what they want and that ideal life and how they want to make money and live out their day to day. But what are you willing to sacrifice or give up or exchange for a year, 2 years, even a couple months or a day in order to make that happen. And
Right.
going through our mentorship and the people that we coach, it comes down to this. And a lot of people can talk a big game, but when it comes down to action or actually doing what needs to be done, for some reason, a lot of people fall short on this.
Yes. And you know what? I think this is just in life in general. Let's put this into the perspective of someone who wants to get in great shape.
Yeah, Monday. I'll do it Monday.
So here's, success to me means I got ripped abs, or I'm going to compete, or I'm going to do this. Great. What are you willing to sacrifice? Oh, well, I don't want to get up early and I don't want to do my cardio. I don't want to sacrifice that bad food or that alcohol. I don't want to sacrifice hanging out with my friends or watching football on Sundays or going out for beers with my buddies. They don't want to sacrifice those things, so they are not in alignment with what they want to succeed with and what they're willing to sacrifice. Mm-hmm. So what are how many things were you willing to sacrifice?
I got 5 here.
Okay, what do you got?
So number 1 is I'm willing to sacrifice that 9 to 5 mentality and work when I know it's needed.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm working at 5 a.m. and I have an afternoon off because I have appointments or doing something, and sometimes I'm working at 9, 10 o'clock at night. That doesn't matter to me.
Okay, what else?
Number 2 is days off. I understand that some weeks or maybe even some months are January and February this year or insane. And I don't think we had a day off until your birthday.
No.
Really, until February 22nd. So I know that there are times where there's going to be no days off, and I'm okay with that. But because I'm doing what I love, that's another thing. I'm willing to give up socializing and time with friends. There's been quite a few instances this year so far where we have said, you know what, maybe going out and staying out till 2 a.m. tonight and having some drinks and some good food with people is not the best decision right now. I'm also willing to sacrifice TV and downtime. Luckily, we are not big TV people. It doesn't really matter to me. And the last one is I will sacrifice security. I would rather make my own way, write my own rules, and create my own life over getting a steady paycheck.
Now, your list and my list was pretty similar, except for 2 things. So I also had the 9 to 5 mentality. Now, unlike you, for 20 years now, I have relied solely on myself. I really don't know any other way. So for more than half my life, and really, I started working when I was 15, and from 15 to 19, I worked for a warehouse company doing forklift and all that kind of stuff. But really, once I was old enough to kind of get a job and create my own way, I've only written my own paycheck. So there's no other way I know. And I actually always prefer it that way. As much as there's a lot of ups and downs with that, and there's a lot of stuff sometimes you can't control or you can control, I love knowing that no one can take my job away. And even if there's circumstances like last year where there's opportunities or consulting services that were cut off, cool, I'll go do something else. I will. I don't like that 9 to 5 mentality where it's get up at 9, hustle, 5 o'clock, check out. There's pros and cons to both. I know a lot of people that I truly do. Sometimes I get jealous. Like, you punch out at 5 o'clock, and you don't have to worry about a thing. Mm-hmm. You just done. You'll deal with it tomorrow, or it's not my problem. I go in, I do my job, I punch out, I punch in. And that works for some people, but I'm willing to sacrifice that kind of 9 to 5 mentality to have the freedom that we have. Number 2 for me, which is not on your list, is sleep.
Oh no, would never be on my list.
Honestly, it's something that I've gotten used to, and that I realize that there are times where you have to get up early, or you have to stay up late, or you have to make those sacrifices. And that's just something that I've learned to accept. It doesn't work for everyone, and this is not your list; it's my list. Yeah. And of the 2 of us, I definitely sleep a lot less, and that's fine. It serves me just fine. It doesn't dissuade me from doing what I need to do or affect me. And that's something I realize, that there are going to be times where you sleep less to be more successful. Number 3 for me, and again, this is on my list, not yours, is shutting my brain off. I'm willing to you sacrifice as an entrepreneur. You realize that your brain never really gets to shut off. And it kind of goes with that 9 to 5 mentality where I'm okay with, 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, there's ideas going, whiteboard ideas, 4 o'clock in the morning, you have ideas, and you're like, oh, who cares, I'll deal with that later. You just respect the fact that your brain is constantly in business mode. Whether we're in San Diego having drinks at a speakeasy and my brain goes into, oh my God, what an amazing business concept and idea. Or we're having dinner somewhere at Tadish in San Francisco, and again, it goes into business mode. Number 4 for me was the same for you as TV, and we're not TV people. Like we'll watch maybe an episode the night before bed, but I mean, even the days that we don't have the kids, we could be done work at 5 o'clock and we'll find stuff to do. We don't just veg, sit, watch TV like a lot of people do. I don't watch any sports.
Thank God for that.
I want to say something. I was going to tell you this this morning, and we got interrupted, and I didn't tell you. So yesterday, I worked out with our friend Brandon, and we went out for some food afterwards, and I'm watching these groups of guys watch golf. Golf. No offense, and I'm not trying to piss off anyone who watches golf, but they're watching golf. And I had an epiphany yesterday. I'm watching these guys scream with excitement and passion and love for a guy who put a hole in the ball. Sorry, a ball in the hole. I'm watching these guys with so much intensity for a guy who just missed his shot.
I didn't know that golf had that much energy around it.
Hold on a second. Then I asked myself, and I swear to God, asked Brandon this. I said, here's the issue. It is Sunday night. When was the last time any of these guys had that same level of passion for their wife or their kids? And Brandon looked at me and was like, oh my God, it's pretty deep. I go, these guys are living someone else's dream. And they're putting so much energy and passion and time into that. When was the last time they put that much passion or energy and time into their family, their kids, or themselves? And we just sat there and watched these guys. And it's pretty sad when you think about it. How many people are so diehard fans, but they don't put that much passion into their own life? And I think that's why I'm not a big sports fan. I mean, really all I'm doing is I'm watching someone else live their dream. You know, and I played hockey my entire life, and you know, I like hanging out with friends and watching a game or whatnot, but I would never, I'm not that fancy football guy or fantasy hockey guy, and I gotta keep up to the stats and whatever else. I like watching highlights. I appreciate sports. I just don't have the time. Like, who has that kind of time to spend hours and hours a week watching it? I just don't have the time. But it made me really realize like how much people put that much passion into someone else's life and dream, and not their own.
Well, I mean, in this conversation, you could get it even deeper, but just what you said there, a lot of people aren't willing to even have that growth mindset or have that insight into wanting to better themselves, wanting to better their relationships, or the path that they're on.
Yeah.
So people numb.
Now, number 5 for me was social life, same as yours. Like, there's been a lot of times this year people are like, hey, when do you want to get together? And we're like, April. They're like, it's January. You just mentioned to me last week that we need a 2019 calendar.
Yeah.
Our 2018 is completely booked. Literally, we don't have a free weekend until September or October. Nothing. And, I mean, that's just the way we've chosen. Now, we also get to travel. We're going back to San Diego. We're traveling during the summertime. We're going to take the kids away. There's a give and take. You know, and there's been a lot of times this year as well where people are like, hey, let's go out. Let's go do it up. We'll go out Saturday. And we're kind of like, I almost feel like, what is it, old school?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't know. We got a big date tomorrow, Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know if there's enough time. But really at that point now, it's like, do I really want to sleep in until 10 o'clock, which we can't do anyways? Do I want to waste an entire day the next day because we were out partying or you know, staying up late and drinking and whatnot? It's just not worth it. So it's something that we're not willing to sacrifice.
And we've had many conversations where we're like, we made a good decision.
The next day we woke up, we're like,
a good adult decision.
We actually felt really proud of ourselves. We're like, we were adults last night. We had a good decision. Finally, I'm 40 years old making adult decisions.
Are we there? Are we finally there?
And the last one for me was the same for you, is stability and security. And the reality is, you know, if you work for someone else and you think you're stable and secure, you're not. You are the most indispensable person.
Your mom last year, she had a little bit of a scare with her work.
Yeah, and you know, the reality is, no matter how long you're with a company, companies can cut back, companies can fire you. Then what do you do? So I'm willing to sacrifice, work hard, and create my own sense of security, my own sense of stability, but I'm in control of it. Right? I'm in control whether I want to work hard or not work hard. Today was a good example. Again, I said this before we came down here today. I did not wake up feeling good at all today. I slept horribly last night. I was up at like 4:30 this morning. I came downstairs, I checked emails, literally went back to bed, got up at like 8 o'clock, which is unlike me, and my head is pounding, my body was aching. And if I worked for someone else, and I said this to you, I'm like, today'd be the day I'd call in sick.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm going to go watch TV for the day. I got 10 sick days. I'm using one of those today. Instead, and I was talking to Kennedy about this as well today, I put on a t-shirt and I went for a walk outside in the cold. And you thought I was nuts. I'm like,
I'm getting in the shower. You're like, I'm going out for a walk, babe. Just going to my t-shirt. Is it cold out? I'm like, yeah, it's really cold out. You're like, perfect.
I just wanted to shock my body. And I mean, we've had this conversation before. Anytime I feel sick, I just ignore it. Or I'm just too stubborn. And I'm like, no, I'm not allowing myself to get sick. I went for a nice walk outside. I came back inside, took a shower, and then we got back to work. You know, made some food, hopped on this today. And I'm just going to go through my day. What option do I have? I mean, yes, I do have the option of just sitting on the couch all day long and doing nothing, or I can just sit at home and still do work and be productive. And it's just that I think it's that mentality that I'm not willing to sacrifice today and not do work. So I'd rather feel at 50% and still do work, and as opposed to just not doing anything at all.
Also with that sense of security too, if you've been in business long enough and you have created some success for yourself and you have some skills and some knowledge and ability, even if hard times come upon you, and they have for all of us, you have that ability to just recreate that success. Maybe it's in a different field, maybe it's doing something different, or maybe it's just picking yourself back up and getting yourself back on the right track. But once you gain some money or some clients or however your business is structured, you can always keep duplicating that, and that is upon you, and that gives you your own security.
Now that's a whole other topic that we're not going to cover today.
No, we're not getting into that.
Funny enough, we're actually be talking about that. That was actually my post on Friday. Are you wired for success, or are you just wired for survival? And people that are wired for success, no matter what you take away from them, they're wired that way. You can take away everything. You can bankrupt them. You can take away their clients. You can take away their house, the car, everything. They'll make it all back. They're wired differently. And that's a whole other topic we'll get into. But you know, for today, I think what I really wish people would do more of is really assess what makes them or what would make them feel successful.
Yeah, sit down, guys. Write out what does success mean to you, and you know, top 3, 4, 5, something like that. 4 is great. What does it mean to you, and are you living into that lifestyle for yourself, or do you live that now? And what is impeding you from living out that ideal life or that ideal of success that you want?
And then lastly, what are you willing to sacrifice? You can argue this all you want, but the reality is, if you want to be extremely successful as an entrepreneur, there's things you're going to sacrifice.
Sacrifice. If you want to be a parent, there's things to sacrifice. If you want a great body, there's things to sacrifice. So if you want a good business, there's always something to sacrifice.
And what's nice is that I think the more you're on the road to success, the less sacrificing it feels like.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, just like, you know, for a lot of competitors, like I'm sure for a lot of top level pro bodybuilders from the Olympia, they don't think that eating, you know, not being able to do certain things is a sacrifice anymore. You know, like most top athletes, whether you're in the NHL, NBA, whatever it is, like they have to sacrifice a lot.
It's just your lifestyle.
That's your lifestyle. You know, musicians, we talk about this all the time. Like, I think musicians have probably the hardest success. And you know, they spend so much time trying to get to where they are. And once they get there, they're on the road 200 days a year. Just to maintain relevancy and to maintain their income. That's hard. Like, hey, now I've made it. Oh God, now I have to go on the road all the time, and I'm never home, and I can't see my friends, and I'm living out of a suitcase or a tour bus or hotel rooms.
And that's a great point. Another thing to consider, guys, is, you know, whatever level of success you want. I mean, if you want to make $1 million a year, like, what does that lifestyle really look like for you, and where's that energy being put out, and what are you doing on a daily basis? And are you willing to have that life and make those sacrifices? We say we want it.
A lot of people, and I posted about this a little while ago, we'll end with this today, is a lot of people's math doesn't add up. They say they want success 100%, but they're not willing to put 100% of the work into it to get that success. So define what success means to you, figure out what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not willing to sacrifice, and make sure those are in alignment.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next show.
See you guys later.